Callistogram!
Well, good morning, Cash Foxes, credit controllers, and coffee clubbers. Let's kick off your Thursday. I'm Stefan, streaming live from Berlin this morning. Yeah, no, not the heart of Germany, but anyway, the capital of Germany. And with me is Mark, and Mark is joining from where?
I'm once again in Budapest this morning. So nice to see everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Stefan, you're going all shy on us again.
Yeah, and maybe there is a reason for that, but I didn't figure it out so far. So I will work on that. And Mark, you will definitely work on the funny side of life, right? So,
Well, we'll try. Yeah, let's see what we got. So, last weekend I went shopping and I bought an indoor trampoline, which I thought my partner would be really pleased about. However, when I brought it home and installed it, she hit the roof. So.
Okay, I'm not so sure this time. Maybe this
that was one of my favorite ones.
No, I didn't like that one. But let's start with some heartwarming things, right? Because we got something prepared for you. So
okay.
See you in a second.
Oh, here we are, the heartwarming beating heart of Callisto. Yes, coming soon, Callie, our own AI knowledge portal, which we're really looking forward to launching in just about less than 4 weeks from now.
Good. But let's dive deper into it, right?
Yes, and today we are going to talk about AI as well. So just with our Callie. This is our version of ChatGPT, exclusively for the credit control profession, and this image is sort of a first draft image of some of the aspects that are going to be included in our portal. Right, so there's many different things, and there's going to be literally thousands more still to come in the next few weeks before we go live. We are loading new material every day. And there's going to be many different aspects in there, more of which will come, say, in future editions of the Espresso. We will talk about this in more detail when it's more formed nearer to launch date. Very excited about this. We are, yes. And I think on to today's discussion, which follows on from this. We're talking about AI and. Yesterday, I actually went to a presentation and genuinely with a lot of GBS leaders here in Budapest, and it was interesting. And of course, one of the subjects that came up was this, as is ever thus, will advanced technology, AI, take our jobs? And putting together today's session, I refer back to a brilliant coffee club that my esteemed colleague Brad Morris led for us about a year ago. So these are extracts from that, but I thought it was timely to talk about this again. So if you can just pop on to the next slide, please. And we so we were looking at sort of the difference between artificial intelligence and human engagement, and the characteristics that follow here. It's kind of a good reminder of what AI can do and where we still need humans, right? And why we believe that for the foreseeable future that AI will not take the majority of jobs. They will, of course, change, but there won't be sort of masses of people unemployed, I believe. So yeah, if you just put down all the other attributes. So if we think about it, AI is brilliant at data collection, maintaining huge amounts of large data and, of course, processing it and feeding back to some degree. And I think we're seeing this more and more ourselves now as we're getting into understanding generative AI, that it is very good at answering our requests, but I would say for all of us, and certainly speaking from my point of view, the majority of requests I asked, it always gives like another alternative, or we ask for another alternative. So the first response is not necessarily the right one, or the finished article. So from a human engagement, we still need to be able to interpret the outputs. And if we think primarily around data and what we do in credit control, we still need to be able to interpret this information and apply it in context. And this is what AI doesn't have. It doesn't have context, right? If we're making a credit decision, whether that's to set a credit limit or to open an account in a new territory, AI at this moment in time will not sort of give us those recommendations. There will still be the human requirement to say, yes, we're going to open an account, or we're going to set up our business in this region because we're the only ones there, or we're prepared to take the risk, or whatever, whatever the reasons may be. And also there's these ethical, strategic and cultural impacts as well. Every company talks about their CSR or ESG, and this still is very much the human side of things. What is the societal impact? And of course, we still need to supervise and governance is very much one of the big watchwords around what we're doing at the moment. But this is the interesting part, and this is why we in Callisto, in our academy, we stress that everything that we impart and we share in our learning programs, our workshops, our qualifications, these are all the essential qualities that people need to be able to do what's on the right-hand side. Basically, we have to have very highly skilled credit control professionals to be able to get the most out of the advanced technology and the AI. If we don't know the context of what we're doing, then large aspects of our jobs will go. And that's why we need to stay ahead of the curve, right? To have this knowledge so that we can get the most out of the technology.
But I would add, even without AI, it's always good to be on top of what you're doing, right?
Oh, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. AI is just the latest enabler to gather data at fast speed. What you said, Stefan, has not changed in my working time, the last 40 odd years.
Absolutely.
And we go
the
right
tools
back.
change, but the general principles stay as they were. But just to drop two additional buzzwords here. So from my point of view, and seen that the last 5 years roughly, most of the processes that include an AI still means human in the loop. This is exactly what's on the top of the right-hand side here. Whereas the supervision part would mean, human, on, not in the loop, but let's say on the loop, meaning they are just, supervising what's really done. But it's the AI, like an agent, taking decisions fully autonomously, but with a human, on the loop.
You're absolutely right. Let's not lose sight of what Stefan's just said, that AI is just the latest technology that speeds up and gathers huge amounts of data in quick time, right? But this is nothing different to going back to the 1980s with floppy disks and so on, and then spreadsheets in the 90s, and macros and so on as we progress from there. But the basic principle is the same. Not changed, and to be honest, it never will change. It never will change.
Let's see. I'm not sure about that, because we don't know what we don't know. But let's dive deeper into how
on to the next one.
Right?
On to the next one.
Because this is really interesting, seeing the different, let's say, not industries, but professions, right?
Yeah, I like this very much. So when we did this last year, I found this really interesting. And the next slide, when we go on to that as well. And you see on the left-hand side, there's sort of an extract of jobs that will thrive, where they require adaptability, human judgment, creativity, and empathy, and so on. And some of these are artistic jobs. So obviously, being a painter or something like that, musicians. But then it's interesting, these are all kind of jobs that need human interaction, right? So, and they're actually going to grow, because at this moment in time, technology will help a mechanic or an electrician with diagnostics and so on. I've seen this myself on my car, but they're still not yet at the stage where they can change the oil or, putting a new gearbox or whatever it is, right? So on a maintenance kind of basis. And of course, we looked at lawyers, doctors, police officers, and so on. And if we start to think about it, and we'll get a little bit deeper in this shortly, some of these characteristics of these people are very much what we do in credit control, right? Customer facing, interaction, communication, context, and so on. On the other side are some jobs that can be impacted or will be impacted, and we're seeing it already. But interestingly, there's like a shift from one job to another. And if we think about let's think about a cashier in a supermarket. Now, the shift there really is there's now a lot of these self-service tills. So the traditional lineup of lots of cashiers. Sorry?
Self-service checkout. Yeah.
Yeah. So which I hate. I really don't like self-service checkouts. But what we notice is where you used to have 10 people working on the tills, now you've got maybe 2 people working on the tills, but a good number of those people that are no longer actually doing the beep beep on the till are now supervising the self-service aspect, right? So they've moved from one role to another, but they have to know how these tills work and what the client's doing and so on and so on, because they conk out every 5 minutes and they come and reset them. And also, not only do we have cashiers moving from that traditional job, but if we also think about it, there's everywhere now there's a whole army of people that are actually doing home deliveries as well. So again, you don't need the cashiers, but they're moving into being home delivery or supervising these checkouts, and actually physically loading the shelves quicker as well. So you see how people are deployed elsewhere, and that applies to quite a few of these jobs. If we think about it, they're just moving from one role to another. And if we can go on to the next slide.
This is interesting. What is really driving to stay relevant, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can drill into this in more detail at another time, and I'm sure we will. But it's still, we're just kind of picking on the aspects where humans are going to be required. And I found this one very interesting when we talked about it last year. And if you can just put the narratives up there, Stefan, please. So again, we're looking at roles that will be eliminated or replaced or reduced and so on. But if you look at the qualities that are in particularly the top half of this graph on the left, abilities to communicate are deemed to be extremely important. And this is by business leaders, right? Problem solving, time management, people alignment and management, and relationship building in particular. Then you go down to data analysis, financial literacy, language, and AI or technology expertise. And if you just stand back for a minute and think about these things and just take a pause, all of these qualities are what makes an effective credit control department. If you think about it, right? Credit control departments thrive on communication, problem solving, time management, being effective, people management, of course, right? And relationship building, absolutely critical qualities that we need to be effective in credit control. Whatever your job, so whether you're in billing or collections or risk or dispute management, cash allocation, we need to be communicating with all our stakeholders, internal and external. And I think this is the absolute fundament, as I was saying earlier, that the need to be professionally qualified and to be the best version of ourselves within credit is absolutely vital, right? Because these are the qualities that are not going to go away for the foreseeable future. Interesting there in the bottom right-hand corner, people skills, communication will be the killer app. So for all the technology, being able to communicate with each other remains the fundament of the advancement of technology. It's interesting.
Maybe, Mark, this is because it might scare, let's say, the audience. So why not? Yeah, because even killer app sounds dangerous, right? Although it's meant in a positive way here.
Yeah,
Uh, so let's go back to the heartwarming part, right? Because
yeah,
that,
yeah. So,
that's our next level. It's maybe even the next universe. So you have to do this transition now from the scary things to
well,
the.
it's not. I don't think it's scary. I think it's actually quite. It really is the classic thing between people and technology, right? You know, we need the technology to give us the information, the data, the analytics, and so on. But we need the people to be able to, first of all, set up what analytics and data we want, and then how to communicate that to whoever it is we want to communicate. And coming back to Kali, our AI knowledge portal. Again, just to finish off, this will be populated with pretty well everything that everybody's going to want, whatever your job within the credit control function and beyond, right? So we're going to be putting in information here specifically for every aspect of O2C, credit control, and also more things as well, like mergers and acquisitions, CSR, ESG, invoice mandating, and many other things as well. And this content is going to be linked to, as it says in the top left here, to individual professional qualifications, personal development plans, and so on. So being a part of the Kali project will actually be a part of your personal learning path as we go forward. And we'll be talking about that in more detail in the coming weeks.
Absolutely.
So I think
So
we are
about
on
coming
time.
week. So next week, there won't be a credit control espresso. It will be the week after, so on April 30th. Because next week, and I'm sure you want to intro that as well, we will have a credit clinic with my DSO manager.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this because my DSO are referring to 5 different client experiences and explaining how their technology is enhancing their clients. So it's not just one, it's 5 different ones. So this is really interesting. So if you want to kind of see what they're doing, but not only what my DSO in particular are doing, but how their technology is enhancing the collections area, right? So really interesting stuff, led by Arthur Hellis and Luke Sculthorpe, so 2 people who know their way around this. So it promises to be a really interesting hour. So please come and join us. On that note,
I think that's it for today, right? And we
that's
were,
it.
it's 19 minutes. That's
Yes,
the
a little bit
longest
longer.
espresso in history, or it was maybe 2 espressos in one, right? A
Well,
double
it's
espresso, let's call it that way.
a double espresso, yes, with a bit of a froth on top.
Okay, so we say thank you and see you next week. And remember, it will be the full hour because it's the credit clinic next Thursday, 8:30 as usual, with my DSO manager.
See you then.
See
Register,
you.
please.
Bye.
See you.